Ooh! If you, like many people, still think that sewing is way too expensive, here I have 10 tips for you to make your cost more affordable. Sewing is expensive, it's not worth it, and you better go on the high street and just get it. It's way easier. We've always been told this, and it's not true. If you want good quality, nice finishes, a lovely fitting, and something personal that suits your style, there's no better way than sewing it yourself. And there are ways to make it more affordable, so comment down below if you already follow these tips, because they are quite logical to do, and if you have some other ideas, let me know down in the comments, because it's always useful to know. And if you like this kind of video, consider subscribing and sharing with someone who might enjoy this content, because it's really helpful and I really appreciate it as well. The first thing you can save some money on is on fabrics. You can go in the shop and have a look at the fabrics they have on offer. Sometimes they have a few rolls that are from other seasons on offer. So have a look and be patient. Maybe at first it's not love at first sight. Maybe you don't really like the colors, or it's not something you will particularly go for, but it's worth getting them, because at some point you're going to use them. I've had fabrics forever in here, but at the end I always find some pattern that I think is going to really work with them, and I've done beautiful things with fabrics on offer. This was €4 a meter, this one as well. They're fabulous. I'm in love with all of them, even though at some point when I first saw them I thought, oh, this might be too dark, this might be too bright, but at the end I've used them and I'm in love with them, so have a look. For example, these two are the ones that I still have, that I haven't used yet, and they cost like €4 a meter. Is not that much of an investment, and I think it's worth it. I haven't used them, that's true, but when the time comes I'll use them and it'll be pretty and I'll be in love with them. And when I see these offers, I always get 2 meters, because I never know what I'm going to do, so it's not that much of a waste. It's not a waste, it's an investment. So just get it, you won't regret it. I've done so many things with remnants, I can't even think about them. It's just, for example, this dress was a remnant I had in my drawer since the beginning I started sewing. It was washed and ready, but I didn't know what to do with it, and in the end I realized I designed this bodycon dress, sort of, and I'm in love with it. Very comfortable, and it was only like €6, so it's worth having a look in there and digging in to find some little treasures. This I made with a piece of remnant, this one as well, another one and another one. I think my whole channel is full of remnant. I miss remnant. And the same goes with haberdashery stuff. If you need any ribbons or what's the name of this, fringes, or any embroideries, embellishment you need for something, have a look in the box they have for when they have a little piece left from the roll that they cannot sell anymore because it's less than a meter. Have a look in there, because there's always something worth buying. Another thing you can really save a lot of is if you trace your own block of measurements. If you trace your measurements on paper and keep it as your basic block, this will be any pattern you want. For example, if I have my sleeve block, this is like my measurements, this is like my arm. Then you can trace any sleeve you like, a bell sleeve, another gather one, a short sleeve, a longer sleeve, anything you can do from this. And it's much better because this is traced from, this is especially for you. It's not any standard size that a pattern from a magazine will bring, so it's just the best you can do. And talking about patterns, nowadays there are loads of different websites that offer you patterns just for free. You just have to download it and there you have it. That's your pattern. Maybe it only brings one size and you have to adapt it to yourself, but it's perfectly fine. And if you still don't want to trace your pattern, another perfect option is to get a pattern magazine. I really like looking at them. It's worth the money because for €6 that costs here, you have loads of different patterns, and even if you buy 1 or 2 a year, it is worth it because they bring lots of different ideas and designs and of course the latest trends. So that's really good. It's a good option. I love them, even though I prefer tracing my own pattern. I'm all about that, but I like having a look at them and just dreaming of what I can do as well. And one thing that is really effective when tracing patterns is just to clone something you have. If you have something that just broke, or if you have something that suits you really well, that dress you're in love with and you've worn so much and you want it in another fabric, you can just trace around it and recreate it. It's really useful. For example, if your armchair cover just broke or you want to give it a new look to your sitting room, you just can take it off and trace around it and you have a brand new one. It's really easy, it's effective, it's useful, and it's enjoyable. It's a very enjoyable way of sewing because you don't have to worry about anything, just tracing and then sewing. So I really recommend it if you haven't done it just yet. And you know, when you go to the supermarket and you save money when you get the bigger size of your product, in sewing sometimes it's the same, especially in haberdasheries. I remember once I went to get some bias tape in black and they offered me the one by the meter and they offered me as well a roll of 10 meters. It was cheaper. I think I saved like a meter of buying and it was worth it. In the end, it's something I've used a lot and I've used it up. So it's worth getting it, even though it's an investment at the beginning, but you end up saving money. So keep an eye on that, and if you're offered something like that, just think about it. And one thing that it's worth keeping is all the little scraps from after we've used our fabric. All of this was money invested, so don't just throw it away. It can be useful for anything. A bandana for our pets, it can be a cover for something, maybe a telephone case or a sunglasses case, anything. You can do anything from it. I dropped it. And even linings or a pocket for the inside of a handbag, anything. You can use it for loads of things, so don't just throw it, just keep it. Find a big tub or something because it's worth keeping them. And when you finish your project and all you have is these little scraps that are worth nothing, don't throw them away. Keep them because they are ever so useful. I have this whole basket. I made it specially for that, and now I have it empty because I just finished it with this cushion. I fill it up, this reading cushion, with these little scraps, so you can use them for this. I did my pink cushion, I did the shell cushions. They are so useful and you end up using everything you've got. I put in there ribbons, little pieces of fabric, if I cut a zip, if I cut any fringes or anything from the haberdashery, I put it in there and I end up using it for all of this. So just find a little spot in your house, even underneath the bed, find a place to keep them because you won't regret it. And one thing that really saves a lot of money is just mending a hole, changing a zip if it's broken. Don't just give up on things just because they have a bit of something wrong with them. Just try fixing them because it's something you love, something you've had for a long time, and it's something you're going to still wearing or using at home. So just try saving it. By the looks of it, just try fixing it because it saves you a lot. And if you have something that is way too broken to be mended, or it's too worn, or you just don't like it anymore because you've used it so much, try upcycling it. Upcycle is the way to go. I love upcycling. It's really good for the environment, not only for your pockets, but it's another way to make the most out of what we have. I'm repeating myself, but it's what I love about this. And it's a way to be creative. I've made so many upcycles. I made the scarf dress, the dressing gown dress, the skirt from a pair of tracksuits, another skirt from trousers, a pinafore, so many things, upcycling things that were previously loved. But I love it. It's sort of almost the most creative way of sewing, because you have to just think out of the box and try to make the most out of what you have. So it's really good. I'm in love with upcycling. I'm all about it. So if you haven't tried it, I dare you to do it. How many have I said? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Can't count. There's an extra one. So, extra tip, because I can't count apparently. Try to get good quality tools and things you use, like for example spools of thread, because the ones from a supermarket are usually very bad quality and they break. This happened to me the other day making the bandana for my dog, for my in-laws dog. The thread kept making knots and breaking without any reason. I was getting really frustrated with it. Then I realized, and I changed it for another one, and it sewed really well. I didn't have any problems at all. So the same with needles. Try getting good quality needles. There's a saying in Spanish, or where I live in particular, that I'm so poor that I buy expensive. Because if I get too many things that are cheap, I end up spending probably more than if I buy one that is expensive or worth buying. So just take this into account, because it'll save you lots of money, lots of time and frustration. And this way you don't end up throwing things out of the window. So I'm sure all of these are things we'll do just because it's logical. It's something that it's something logical to do, to follow these tips, even though no one has told you before. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Every little helps, I guess. So let me know down in the comments what you thought, and if you do something different that I haven't said, because it's always good to learn. I love reading comments and answering them. And let me know what you think. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. I appreciate it a lot. It helps the channel. And I leave you here as well a list of all the videos I've made about talking in the sewing room. So much talking. And in the description box down below, I leave you different lists of all the things I've talked about, all the upcycling videos, or the mending one, or the sewing scraps, things like that. So you can go over there and have a look if you see something that's got your attention. So if so, just go over there, and I leave you as well my Instagram account in case you want to have a look at my everyday life, as well as projects I'm currently working on. And I'll see you again next week. Bye.